Hello. Here at Amscan we've got a huge range of different products, including foil balloons, Sempertex latex balloons and party wear, and it is really nice sometimes to be able to combine them all together to get differences in texture and interest and everything else. So I've got a little thing today where I'm going to be using the foil banners from the Party Essentials range. These come in a vast array of different messages, so this design can be adapted to suit just about anything you want, and it's very, very simple. I'll give you two options. We're going to start with a helium filled idea, and very, very basic, very easy to put together. Time-honoured fashion, start with the base, which is the well-known double cluster around the collar. So we're going to take the weight there, hold the tassel, wrap the first cluster around the neck of the weight. I've chosen gold weight because there is gold text on the banner, so if any of it shows, it will tie in. And then the second cluster goes on the top. Now these are Sempertex 5-inch balloons, and we have Fashion Mustard, Pastel Matte Yellow, Reflex Blue and Fashion Rosewood, and those colours have been chosen because of the colours in the banner and they match really, really well together. Sit the second cluster on the top there, take a neck from the lower cluster, pull it up, wrap it around a couple of times, and that is the base of the design finished. What happens when you pull it up nice and tight like that is it pushes the lower cluster down so it sits nice and firmly on the table, lifting the weight slightly off the floor, so it's the balloons that are in contact with the floor, which makes it look much more sturdy. I've got two more clusters here which will go around the top balloon. These are inflated to 5 inches and 5 inches and 4 inches. Sorry, I didn't remember there. For the ones underneath the large balloon on the top, we've got 4.5 and 3.5. So it's an inch difference in each case. These are slightly smaller than those. Take your banner and just gather it together about 6 to 8 inches from the end, and just pull it through the base like so, and that will lock it in place nice and firmly, and then we can just trim this end into a nice neat V to give it a little bit of detail. Like so. Now the balloon that's going on the top is a 24-inch rosewood balloon. I've inflated it to about 22 inches, so it's not fully inflated, but it's pretty close. So it's nice and big, nice and impressive, and got plenty of lift. I'm going to wrap the clusters around the base of the balloon. I'm going to take the first one and wrap it between the knot and the balloon itself. So I'm just going to pull this nice and tight, like that. So very much like with the weight, I've got the knot underneath here and the balloon on the top, so that means it's locked very firmly in position. And then the second one can go around the tail of the balloon so that it is pulled firmly up against that first cluster. Like so. And then they will sit nice and tight and neatly together up against the base of the balloon. Now put this down on the floor so that we get our heights right, and I'm just going to take once again the banner, crumple it up a little bit and pull it through the clusters. I've got it tethered with a ribbon to the end of the table until I'm happy that it's firmly fixed. And once it is, I will cut the ribbon off. So you can see how choosing the right colours with a design like this makes such a big difference, because all of the colours in the banner are reflected in the colours under the balloons, and it just carries on all the way through. Now I can release the balloon from its tether. I don't need these ribbons, so I'm going to cut them nice and close there. Well, I don't need them for that, because that in itself is great. Very simple, really easy, but you can fluff it up a little bit more if you use a second banner. So I'm just going to take a second banner and use this one to make a nice big bow, which will go underneath. So hold your banner, find the middle, crunch it up like that, make a loop, and if you've got room, which we have in this case, make a second loop, and then same again with the other side. And then I'll use a piece of this ribbon that I salvaged from before just to tie it all together. Wrap it around the centre like so, tie it off. Fluff it up a bit so the banner's not all crumpled. Trim the ends. You can adjust this to suit yourself. I've made 2 loops with short tails so that we get the fuller bow underneath the balloon, but if you prefer you can just make 1 loop out of each side and leave the tails longer so that they hang further down. It really depends on the look that you want and how you want it to appear. And I'm just going to pull that through there, wrap it round once or twice to secure it, and curl the ends. And there we have it. Now there are variations to this, many of them, obviously just by changing the banner for different different occasions will make a difference, but you could, if you want to, do an Airfield version of this, and I've got one here that I prepared earlier. Basically it's the same design, but in this case I have mounted it onto one of the ubiquitous lamp stands. They come black, but I've wrapped it with a 260 and bits of latex here and there to make it white. One nice little tip that you might be interested in is if you use the lamp stands, you can turn the plastic shade upside down and drop it over the base, and it covers it perfectly, so you don't need to have a big cluster at the bottom. Small cluster there to cover up the hole on the top. So these are Sempertex Reflex Silver, the 5-inch ones with the stars printed on it. And at the top here, just as a little bit of extra detail and fun, I've double stuffed a large clears balloon with a fashion white. I've dumped some silver flakes into the clears before I put the fashion white in, and then shook it about so that they are trapped between the 2 layers, because they pick up really, really well on these little silver speckles on the banner. So this one is a just married banner. A couple of little extra details here and a single bow, but you can see how the same idea can be adapted and changed to suit lots of different occasions.